Today, we are diving into one of life's biggest mysteries, based on a text with a very bold title, How to Know Your Previous Life. So, let me ask you, who were you in a past life? It's a question a lot of us have probably thought about. Does the person you are today, right now, carry echoes from a time long, long ago? Well, the source material we're digging into today says the clues are all hidden inside your own nature. So this source kicks off with a really wild idea, that our life is holographic. The argument is that all the data, all the information from every single past journey is stored right inside us. Now, this stuff is usually hidden, but according to the text, it pops up every now and then. Okay, so if this information is bubbling up, how do we actually spot it? The author calls them holographic clues and says that if you can just grab onto them, you can start to trace your past. So let's see what some of these clues might be. Here's the basic idea the whole theory rests on. While we're all human now, our origins are totally different. The text suggests some of us came from what it calls heaven worlds, others from animal worlds, and some are just reincarnations from right here, in the mortal world. And that, it claims, is why humanity is so incredibly diverse. So let's start at the very, very top of this cosmic ladder. We're going to look at the clues that the author says might point to a past life in a celestial or, a higher realm. All right, here's the first question for you. Think about how your mind works. Do you just naturally see the big picture? Can you grasp how all these super complex, interconnected systems fit together without even trying? According to the source, this is called holographic order thinking. And if you're sitting there nodding along thinking, yeah, that's me, well, get this. The text claims this is a sign that you came from the side of the greatest creator, that you were a god. And the clues from these higher realms don't stop there. How about this? Is your thinking kind of beyond simple forms and labels? The text suggests you were a Buddha. Are you just naturally drawn to freedom and joy? Maybe you were a celestial being. Or do you have dreams of flying and just feel a deep dislike for the mortal world? That could be a sign from the 10,000-year world. Or maybe you've just always felt a little out of place here, like you don't belong. The source suggests you might be from the 1,000-year world. Okay, let's bring it back down to earth for a minute and look at the clues the text links to past mortal lives, and even animal lives. So what if your traits feel a bit more grounded in earthly wisdom? The text asks, are you exceptionally wise, super clever, and able to see the balance and the two sides of everything? Do you have what it calls Taiji thinking? If that description is really hitting home for you, then your past life might have been as a seriously influential person right here on Earth. The source suggests you could have been a revered sage, or maybe even a saint. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because the source connects our modern habits to our deep past, and it starts with what you eat. If you love meat and you really don't feel the suffering of the animal, the text suggests a past life as a predatory carnivore. But if you prefer vegetarian food, you're naturally a bit timid, and you feel safest in groups, that could be an echo of a past life as a docile herbivore. And it takes this idea even further, into our career instincts. Do you have this deep, innate pull to be a police officer with a sixth sense for catching bad guys? The text links this to being a cat. Or how about that gut feeling? That deep-seated desire to be a soldier and defend your home? That, it claims, could be the dog or the wolf in your past. Okay, here's a more introspective one. What is your gut reaction to hardship? Is it just to bear it without a word of complaint? To endure being bullied without fighting back? To just go with your destiny, no matter what? Well, according to the source, if that really, really resonates with you, your past life may have been as a farm animal from what it calls the livestock world. Okay, so we've covered the heavens, we've covered the earth. Now, we're going to journey into the final category in the text, the more mysterious and, well, supernatural pasts. The text lays out three pretty intriguing possibilities here. First, if you're naturally aggressive, a quick thinker, good at what the source calls sorcery, and maybe even enjoy seeing others in pain, it suggests you came from the devil world. Second, if you have this incredible charm and bearing, but you're also just extremely selfish, it points to a past life as a goblin. And finally, if you're clever with small things and you use tricks to get what you want, that could be the trace of an evil spirit. So we have all these potential pasts from all these different worlds. Gods, animals, goblins, saints. But what's the point? Why does knowing any of this stuff actually matter, according to the author? And this is a really, really important point in the text. The author makes it crystal clear. What you're seeing is your past. It is not your present. It doesn't matter what you were before. You are a human now. The whole idea is to use this knowledge to find what the text calls your coordinate point. Think of it as your starting position on life's big map. It's about decoding that holographic data we talked about, not to define who you are, but just to understand where you started. By knowing where you came from, the author argues, you can get a much better sense of your purpose and the direction your life's evolution should be heading. And, for anyone out there thinking this all sounds a little far-fetched, the author actually includes a direct message for you, which I have to say, I appreciate. If you think this article is bullshit and nonsense, just take it as a fun game. So ultimately, whether you look at this as some deep spiritual insight or just a fun personality quiz, the goal is pretty much the same. It's all about self-understanding. It's a way to identify your built-in tendencies so you can better figure out your mission and move forward with a bit more clarity. And that brings us to the final, really fascinating question the author leaves us with. We've just looked at a way to go backward in time to find our origin point. But what about looking forward? The source ends by asking, you've explored your past, but how do you predict your future? And that is a thought to leave you with.